Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Pruim Haran, and first of all, I thank everybody for coming out on a Sunday afternoon. I'm running for Clerk of the Circuit Court. The reason I'm running is that as an attorney here in Lake County, I get the opportunity every day to see who comes in, who goes out, and what transpires in the courtroom. And with that opportunity becomes a chance for me to see ways that the court system can be improved. One of the first ways I think it can be improved is technology, and I believe that's something we'll address later. As I said, I'm an attorney with the Public Defender's Office here in Lake County. Prior to becoming a public defender, I did civil practice in Cook County. Prior to my decision to go to law school, I worked for Hilton Hotels. After graduating from Loyola University with honors, as well as playing on a full basketball scholarship, I worked for Hilton Hotels as an assistant manager. After a year of that supervisory role, I was promoted at the age of 24 to the director of that department, where I oversaw the guest service department, which included bellmen, doormen, included the concierge staff and the assistant manager staff. At that age and in that role, in one of the most prestigious hotels in the city, the Palmer House Hilton, I was able to provide quality service without much overhead from the employees. After that, I worked for the O'Hare Hilton in the same capacity while being given the additional responsibility of the assistant director of front office. Therefore, I bring to this position business, leadership, managerial, budget, and legal experience. And that is something that this position does require. The Clerk of the Circuit Court is the link between the people and the court system. That position does the business of the courts, just like Ms. Kopel has said. They accept the money, they disperse the money, they keep the records, they maintain the records, and there should be a relationship between that position, the attorneys, that position, and the public, that position, and law enforcement, and that position, and all of the other departments within the county. I believe that my experience with Hilton Hotels has provided me with the opportunity to show employees what quality service is. And the clerks currently are quality, but there's always room for improvement. Happy employees, fair employees provide quality service. And that's something that I will be able to bring to the table. My legal experience goes without saying here in Lake County. I have been in the misdemeanor court system, in the felony court system. I was part of therapeutic intensive monitoring courts, which is a program with hands-on experience with clients. I'm part of the Lake County Bar Association and the Women's Association of Lake County Attorneys, where I serve as a board member. I believe that this experience will bring Lake County exactly what we need, and what I say in my campaign. We will bring the clerk's office in a new direction. Thank you.
Thank you. The first question goes to Ms. Pruim Haran, and it's a question for both of you to answer, 1 minute each. Given the economics of today, if you had to cut your budget, how would you maintain the same level of services? And give 3 examples if you can.
Regarding the budget, I think it's hard when you talk about cutting a budget. I think that there are plenty of opportunities when, or should I get into office, for me to review that budget. I would say, however, that there's more efficient ways to run the office. Ms. Kopel mentioned that there's updating and technology going on. What she didn't mention was that that is a county-wide initiative to update the technology between the office departments. That's not something that the taxpayer, the general resident of Lake County, is going to see. What we don't have is the ability for our taxpayers to get online to pay their fees, whether it be criminal, whether it be child support service fees, outstanding fees. If we have the ability for our taxpayers to do that, that would provide a more efficient system for us to operate in.
Thank you.
Our budget is a very small budget when you consider the amount of work that gets done in the office. I have 150 staff that's paid out of this $7.7 million. We still, at this time, of course, make more revenue than we cost the county. I am very conservative as far as asking for additional staff. I don't see that we are in the need of that at this point. We have no backlogs in our office. We are up to date, and we don't need to run any overtime unless there's a jury trial or a bond court on Saturdays and Sundays. So we handle our workload within what we are allowed by the county budget policies, and I intend to continue to do that.
Thank you. The next question for both of you, and we'll start with Ms. Kopelt this time. Would you support a nonpartisan election system in Lake County, and why or why not?
Well, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I will say this much. The office of the Circuit Court Clerk, the responsibilities are very nonpartisan in that respect. We are required by law to do everything that we do. The laws are enforced by the prosecutor or the police, and we just keep the records of those. And there's no Republican way to do that or Democratic way to do that, actually. So I'm not going to say that I support it, but I'm not going to say that it couldn't be done.
Okay, thank you.
I would say similarly that this position is something that does not require a party line. There's not something that a Democrat can do or a Republican can do. It just needs to be done efficiently. Fines need to be collected, they need to be dispersed, records need to be updated, staff need to be hired and treated appropriately so that the public is treated appropriately. All the concerns need to be met by the person who's elected into office, and just as any office, that person needs to be the most qualified person elected.
Okay, this question goes first to Ms. Pruim Haran, but it's for both of you. How will the recent unionization of the employees affect the operations of your office?
As I stated, I come from a background prior to law school, quality service. I did mention also crisis management. I believe in my experience in the Lake County Courthouse, even prior to my stating that I was running, that the clerks were quite unhappy. They were unhappy with being treated unfairly. They were afraid of voicing their opinions. And I believe that when you have unhappy employees who don't feel that they're being treated fairly, that it does get reflected in their work. And of course, people have good days and bad days. But it's my understanding that the clerks sought a union as a way to take matters into their own hands to ensure that they were treated fairly. So I don't see a downside to the unionization of the office. I see the clerks as feeling comfortable in their jobs, knowing they have to do a good job, and knowing that should they not do a good job, that any penalties would be fair and across the board.